What is going on, peoples? It's me, your boy C, the host of this here bit of business that we call Paprika, man, back with another movie review for you. This time around, we're talking about The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. The new action joint directed by Patrick Hughes. It stars returning actors Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, Salma Hayek, as well as newcomers Morgan Freeman, Antonio Banderas, and Frank Grillo as well. So let's get right into it, man. Let's get right into it. Theatrical joint for you to check out. The summer blockbuster season, I feel, is finally here. And not to say that it hadn't started. I guess the summer blockbuster, you could say the season kicked off with that lackluster Without Remorse, and has since pretty much failed to impress me with any of its action offerings that define what I consider the summer blockbuster to be the most magical movie-going time of the year. But with the release of The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, I think I can confidently say that the fun has returned to your local Cineplex, man. The sequel to what I think the action comedy kind of surprised a lot of people, The Hitman's Bodyguard. This sequel, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, is just as nonsensical and as ludicrous as its title suggests it is. Returning to the film, like I said, Michael Bryce, played by Ryan Reynolds, and Darius Kincaid, played by Samuel Jackson, and his wife, Sonia Kincaid, played by Salma Hayek, man. Sonia forces Bryce out of a much-needed respite from the world of bodyguarding in order to rescue her husband. But having sworn off of guns and lethal force, Bryce is kind of forced to invent alternative means to accomplish their objectives that they have to. And this sweeps both Bryce and the Kincaids into a larger story involving the potential destruction of Europe, man. So let's talk about it for a little bit, man. Over the years, I think, with movies like Van Wilder and Waiting, and of course Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds has cemented his place as one of Hollywood's favorite fast-talking, foul-mouthed, sarcastic, funny guys. I think is the best way of nailing down the niche that he's kind of made a claim to. And he continues that tradition in The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, as Michael Bryce is pulled into these circumstances regardless of what he wants out of life. And on the one hand, he doesn't bring anything new or fresh to the character. It's one we've already seen him play in multiple films. One I'm kind of assuming we'll get another version of in Free Guy out later on this year. Well, on the other hand, man, he's used these multiple movies to hone and perfect this niche that he has. And he continues to shine and be both funny and at times warm and affable while doing it. So yeah, we've seen him do it a lot, but he's done it so much that he's finally perfected this type of deal here. And seeing him in these roles is like slipping into like your favorite hoodie. You know, when it starts getting crisp, when the weather's getting crispy outside, it makes sense. And while Reynolds was making his name as the slick-talking leading man, Samuel L. Jackson was also carving out his role as America's foul-mouthed, angry black man, one could say, in both comedic and dramatic films. He kind of poked his head out that persona in Jurassic Park. I think was fully birthed in Pulp Fiction, and then has been a comfortable go-to ever since. And like I said, dramatic too, like Negotiator. Go back and check out that movie. Don't worry about anybody else in that movie. Just go back and check out Samuel L. Jackson. And here he's no different, man. Samuel L. Jackson is just Darius Kincaid yelling, wisecracking, cackling his way through the movie. And at times he really seems to enjoy the danger that they find themselves in. And much like Ryan Reynolds, Jackson's technique and persona has been so finely tuned that it's a well-run engine now. If Reynolds is like that favorite hoodie in the crisp weather, then Jackson is that first pumpkin spice latte that you get that really kicks off that fall season, man. And also Salma Hayek, while no stranger to comedy, she is rarely seen this raw and gleefully unleashed as the Hitman's Bodyguard and now Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. And an increased screen time from the first because, you know, they threw her title into the title of the movie, or her role into the title of the movie. She is the anchor. Sonia Kincaid is the anchor of this movie. And, while not the central plot point, her wish to become a mother is explored throughout this film, as well as the incredibly obvious question of her qualifications to do so. And Salma Hayek goes toe-to-toe with both Reynolds and Jackson in the outlandish vulgarity department, proving that she can hang with the fellas and in some case out-crude them. And it's wonderful to see. Just let her cut loose. As for the rest of the cast, man, a reunion of Salma Hayek and Antonio Banderas is a delight to see, even though they are on opposing teams. Antonio Banderas is Aristotle Papadopoulos, which is such a ridiculous name, is doing the best with the material that he's given, but with the focus of the story being on the hitman's wife, and their bodyguard, there's not a whole lot of time for screen time for the antagonist. Papadopoulos' plan to destroy all of Europe, to bring Greece back to prominence, it's as preposterous as you think it is, man, but, thanks to the outlandish tone of the movie, that's to be expected, I think. Frank Grillo appears as a Bostonian Interpol agent, whose character definitely suffers the most throughout this movie. He's gone for huge chunks of the film. Most of the second act, you don't even see him. It's hard pressed to see how much his character is needed after kind of setting the three on their mission. After that, he's not much use. As for the direction, man, directed by Patrick Hughes, he also directed the first movie as well. This is exactly what we've come to expect from Hollywood sequels, I think. At least Hollywood sequels since Cameron's Aliens, right? You take the original premise and you just crank it up to 11, which is what they did here. Luckily, Hughes is up to that challenge. The film zips pretty quick, 100-minute runtime, and it leaves a little room for downtime or character development. The action scenes are fun and cleverly presented. The editing is pretty tight. The camera work is nice, makes everything easy to follow. And with these two movies under his belt, both Hitman's movies, I'm looking forward to seeing what else he's capable of, this Patrick Hughes fella. But overall, man, while not as fresh or inventive as its predecessor, there's still an abundance of joy to be had while watching this new installment. The quick pace, chemistry between your titular characters, man, the absolute absurdity of the plot all combines. It makes like this crazy goulash of a film that's equal parts funny and eye-rolling as well. And while that plot teeters a bit towards that cartoonish Roger Moore Bond villain level, it gives the story the freedom needed to let the characters be their zaniest selves. And it kind of lets the audience enjoy the sheer lunacy of the predicament that they find themselves in. And just go ahead, and it's just plain fun, man. Just check out The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. It is in theaters June 16th, man. If you're comfortable with getting out there to the theater, this is one that you're going to want to check out, man. This hails the return of the blockbuster. So go ahead and check that out. And if you do, let me know what you thought. And I will see you next time around. Till then, you all take it easy.